Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Learning Torah Lishma. People say, there's so many good things happening in Klal Yisrael. There's so much chesed. There's so much, you're safe in a Jewish community. True, there's so many milas. And we have this, fortunately, this person's not getting married, and there's that person, this person, that person, this person's getting divorced, and the whole area of marriage is being destroyed by the system. Of course, they don't think it's by the system. They think it's something else, which they can't really say, They don't realize it's them. But, in general, you'll speak to them and say, yeah, there's this issue of people needing to get married, people staying married. What they don't realize is you could have all the best things. You could have the person, right? It could be that the person, because he didn't get married, he still was never Mechal Shabbos. He kept Shabbos. He kept kosher. He was a Jew. He stayed a frum Jew, according to everybody. He stayed a frum Jew. Even if that would happen, which he would have to be godlike to do that, right? But even if that would happen, you understand? Is still the fact that he didn't get married. He doesn't have a family. He didn't create a family. That will destroy his soul with keeping Yiddishkeit to the highest extent. Of course, practically, no one can. You slowly go down, and some people faster than others. You understand? But even in those rare scenarios that the person stays strong, you destroyed his neshama, you destroyed his soul by not allowing him to get married, by creating a system that prevents people from getting married. And this is something that people don't realize that they're doing. There's going to come a time of judgment that you're going to have to answer for all your evil deeds, whether you realized it or not, right? Whether you thought that the evil was good and that's why you did it, or whether you just didn't realize it at all, but you did it. You're gonna have to, there's a time, there's a judgment on that. And instead of people looking away from that, maybe they should take it a little more seriously and stop locking away their boys, and especially their girls. Those are they're being locked away very hard. Locking them away and not allowing coffee dates. You understand? If I was making a coffee date, I would say, I just think that you two, there's something I think that you would be very good together. I wouldn't even say the name. I would say, I want you to meet. I wouldn't say the name. I wouldn't say the age. I wouldn't say anything. Because you want them to talk it through. You want them to have that conversation. The deeper they begin together in a respectful way, right? Because if if there's cohabitation, then that deepness there is not helping her, it's hurting her. You're taking away from her value. Right? If a woman comes to you and says, I've been with a 1,000 men, right? Does that make you want her as a boy? Does that make you want her more or less? Less. So you're hurting her. There's a level of deepness that's only good, that only causes good. And that's what we should want for every Jewish girl. And that's what every Jewish girl should want for herself. And every person, really, every girl, whatever they believe in, don't believe in, whatever it is, that's what they should want for themselves. And this is extremely important. We have to start kicking off coffee dates. You know where we have to start? People that understand what we are saying here now. Because it's not me. There's a lot of people that understand this. I just have the courage to actually say it. The people that understand and so people that understand and and happen to have a family with kids, they have to start doing it. Not just the Rabbanim have to come out, and the Rebbitzins and the Rebbes, Reshivas, Chachams, and all these people in positions of power or spiritual power. You understand? People look at them as holy people, or you understand? Not just them have to come out and make Yiddishkeit great again, and bring in coffee dates, but also the people, the men and women that understand this themselves, that have a family, that have kids, they have to start doing it. And you're going to find a better spouse for your child. Just think about how many divorces happen. Is that really where you want to be? You want to be part of you want to be part of this I'm slipping my mind how to say it. The statistic, I don't know, it's slipping my mind right now. You want to be part of that. You want to be part of that group that has that percent of failure. You want to continue going in that way. Is that being helpful for your kids? And I understand if the right thing, or imagine if their system, people weren't really getting divorced, but they're doing things the wrong way, that the Yitzhak could try to trick you to keep doing that. But when you see that their system and the statistics, this is slipping my mind, I guess it's a bit late, is failing, you understand? Then what? You have to self-search in yourself. Why? How could I fall to the Yetzer Hara in such a scenario? If you're gonna fall to the Yetzer Hara, don't fall to him in stupid things. You understand? This is stupid to work this way. Parents, how much pain they have to go through to get the kids married, and then the kids get divorced. Who needs this? You have to train them to become adults. You have to talk to them about marriage, talk to them about what matters, and you also have to explain to them that you, as being an outsider and being older, there's things you could see that they may not see. So I want you to go on a coffee date. I want you to meet that person, but at the same time, I want you to be open to listen to my advice, because that could be very crucial. You understand? Be open to listen, and you could think about it, talk it over with your Rebbeim, with your Moras, you understand? With your Rebbitzins, talk about it, but also to remind them that the parent, as an outsider, could see, in certain aspects, could see better. Now, since they're not in it, there's also things that they can see, and they also have biases of what they want, and this and that. That's true also. So therefore, you're not telling them that you have to. I want you to be able to, to listen and then talk it over with someone, like a third party that is more objective about it. At the end of the day, it's your decision, but I want you to, take it seriously. You have to train them, because if you just switch to coffee dates, you understand, which it's better than the system now, that's for sure. But it still would be terrible, because you're doing the correct system halfway. You understand? You're allowing the coffee dates, but until now you prevented them from becoming adults. You made them think that they're inferior, that they're incapable, and people have to control them for them to succeed. This is what you did until now. Unfortunately, most people unintentionally, this is just what they're sort of taught to do. And And now that you realize the truth, you're trying to get the best for them. So you gotta talk to them about your experience as being an adult, and you'll be surprised how quick they'll catch up on it. Put them in positions that they become an adult. Take the boy, he's already past 18. Stop pampering him. You say, from now on, anything you want, you have to buy. I want you to become a stable human being. A boy's already 20. It's time that he has to learn how to become a man. To send him into the workplace. Yes, the Torah gave him honesty and refinement and so many good things, but if you don't utilize the gifts, then you lose it. Chas v'shalom, God forbid. That's what's happening today. You have to turn them, take the great things that they learn and put them into action. You know, this is loving your kids. And I understand that it could be difficult for people because they just want to fit in. They don't want people to say anything for them. But you really have to, for your kids, you have to become aggressive. You have to get this, aggressiveness in you. The aggressiveness should be your total desire for the best for them. And not what people tell you is the best, but what you think and understand is the best. You learn the Swarm. You've been a Jew, you're grown up Jewish, you've been practicing, you've been doing the mitzvahs. Don't disregard, the voice inside of you. Hashem speaking to you through your conscience, through the world, through things you understand. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. We have to, if we, sometimes we have a hard time loving ourselves. It's terrible that a person doesn't love themselves. But if we can't even break through the Yetzer Hara when it comes to loving our kids, that we don't just follow the evil pasturer. You understand? There's the good one like David HaMelech, the holy person taking care of his flock. But then there's also people that are foolish. You have stupid people taking care of the flock, and some go away, some get killed, things happen. You understand? And there's evil ones that are trying to steal the flock, and make themselves a god. You understand? If you can't be open-minded for your kids to do the best for them and to see through the falsehood, and if you understand something that this is hurting your child, to ignore that, where can you start from? This is the last straw, is when the Yetzer Hara, through tricking people, I think most of the people, they don't mean to do bad, but unfortunately they are, through tricking people, and they're telling you to do X, which is a real X, it's bad, instead of Ratzon Hashem, that's flowing through your veins, that's flowing in the atmosphere, that's penetrating your seichel. You understand? To ignore all that when it comes to your kids, this is the Yetzer Hara completely controlling you. There is no tzaddik emes when it comes to your kids. There is no such thing when it comes to your kids that I just do what the tzaddik says, even though you think that it's terrible what's being done to you. That doesn't exist. He has to prove himself, he or she, wherever they are. You understand? It doesn't, even if they said that they have Ruach HaKodesh, they need to prove that they have Ruach HaKodesh. And you understand, and then you could maybe take them on the word right now. If they're saying that what they're saying now is Ruach HaKodesh, First, they have to prove that they have Ruach Kodesh, and maybe then you could take them on the word at the moment. You understand? But that's anybody that's saying that is usually a bit crazy. You understand? Anybody that has Ruach HaKodesh doesn't use Ruach HaKodesh to prove their point. No one that has Ruach HaKodesh would ever do that. They use logic. Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't prove to Klal Yisrael because he has Ruach HaKodesh. He proves it through logic. You understand? So that's why Hashem said he's going to speak to Klal Yisrael, because he wants them to have first hand, because it's not so easy to prove each thing, you understand, to Klal Yisrael. But then Klal Yisrael says, we'll take it the second way, because there was no other choice. They couldn't. They thought to themselves that they were kept on dying, that they just can't exist, doing it this other method way. So at the end, that's what that's what happened. But just to understand, when it comes to your kids, if there's any place that you can't be brainless, it's when it comes to your kids. You can't be brainless. You have to think. You have to understand things. You must do the best you can for your kids, and keeping them babies, not letting them take the abilities that they learn from the Torah and to physically do it in life, and that creates them into a full human being. Not allowing them to do that is horrible. Making it so difficult for them to get married. It's only these few simple things, but those things make it so difficult. Yes, there's a few people that it's easy for them, but for the majority it's not. And for the majority it's harmful. It's not good. Any other person looking at from boys and from girls, these young adults, thinks they're godly when they spend a little time with them. They're so special. And you come along as an adult and make a system that looks at them like in such an evil way. You are the Sitra Achra. Look, I'm sorry I have to tell you this. You are the Sitra Achra. You are a little Satan to treat them this way. That's what you are. You think with all your mitzvahs, every mitzvah that you did is going to turn into an Aveira, and you're going to be burned for Nitzachim. I'm sorry I have to tell you this. But the young people that are so young, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, and they can't breathe, they're dying. And you just, with your aloofness and your stupid house and a fancy wig, think you could just look over them and like there's some lesser being. You are the Satan. You are his children. Every mitzvah that you do, you're going to hell for it. Every avera that you do, you're going to double hell. That's what's happening. Every avera that the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Yidden today, because of your stupid system, because of your idol system, this system, which is an idol. You don't care who gets hurt. You just think the system. This idol, all the people that were never introduced to Yiddishkeit, all the people that were pushed away, you're all going to sit in hell forever and ever. All you Rabbanim, all you Rebbetzins, all you Rebbes, all you Mashpiyim, all your Chachamim, all you people that have this holy face, that the That's all coming from the Sitra Achra. He's happy that you're keeping Shabbos. Why? Because your ideology pushes the youth off the derech. It keeps people from coming to Jewish school. You think of Kailul instead of a kid going to yeshiva and getting a Jewish education. He loves it. He lets you. He doesn't fight with you too much in Yiddishkeit. He doesn't make pogroms. He doesn't do anything. Why? Because you're useless. Because you are helping him. Tzaddikim of old were actually doing things. And the Yetzer Hara made pogroms. He made all these things because they were actually his enemy. But you, the reason why life is so good is because you are a little Satan. You are his children. And if you don't change, you're going straight to hell. There is no hope for you. You're going to be there forever. And we don't want that for you, and we don't want that for anybody. And therefore I'm pointing it out. I just look around. There's so many kids that are hurt, sticking them on drugs because you want them to sit in a classroom. So you stick them on drugs instead of letting them do something with their life. That's what they need. For them, they need to do physical things, not to read a book in a classroom. That's what they need. You have to understand. Put them on these drugs. In every area, you're destructive. In every area, you're a bad person. Because you give them to eat, you're a good person, and all the bad things causing them to not know how to take care of a family, causing them that they can't even get married, putting them on drugs. You don't care. You're just you are a little Satan. That's what you are. You're a brainless puppet of the Satan. You're a little Satan. That's it. You're a little Satan. Satan means that you avert the person, le Satan. You avert them from the path. That's what you are. That's what you do. You avert the holy children. You're also one of the holy children of Hashem. But when you act this way, you're not looked at so holy anymore, even though you might have that holy face, and say a nice shir, or talk very emotionally. But in your actions, you're destroying. When you destroy the youth of Klal Yisrael, Hashem takes that very seriously. Hashem does not. He takes it very, very seriously. Hashem cares about everybody, but just like Hashem, he's extra attentive to the orphan and the widow. Why? Because they are people that are. It's hard for them. They don't have the ability to deal with the situation. People that are young, they're growing up. They don't have the ability to go against this corrupt system. They don't have that ability. And to stay from and to keep Shabbos and to keep kashrus and to keep shomer negia and to eat kosher, it's so difficult when you're destroying them in such deep levels. Well, we mean the best. We mean good. It's okay. The pathway to hell is paved with good intentions. But what you're doing is severely evil. And I'm telling you, because I want the best for you. And I want the best for your kids. I want the best for yourself. Just think about it, how many parents, people with kids, are doing this to their kids? They'll destroy their kids just to keep with the Shita HaKadoshah. That's it. it's worth it for them that the kids should be lost because of your stupidities, not allowing them to work, making getting married so hard. And just that alone is enough. But there's many, many more areas that you're hurting them. You're supposed to be the role model. You're supposed to be the person that shows them the way of love, the way of Hashem. And instead, you're a monster. You don't care. You would prefer to do what the system says, even if that means losing a child, because you want to comply with the system. You don't want to be looked at different. To your own kids, to other people's little kids. Your Rebbe or more, this is little kids. Young people. You have a 15-year-old, you have an 18-year-old, you understand? And this is what they're doing to them. There should be an uproar. People have to drastically, don't fight with these people that are promoting this. You realize the truth, you have to find other people that realize it. Don't fight with the people that are brainwashed, that don't care, that they know they're doing something wrong, but it's a getchka, it's an idol. You understand? Don't fight with them. Use your energy. I'm talking here to the people that they realize the truth, and they're willing and they have the courage to actually do it. I'm telling you, just do it. Do it. Find other people that understand this. Show them someone that speaks about this and see their reaction. See if they understand. And make your own group. And just don't allow other people to have a conversation with you. You can tell them, see this, if you can't understand from this, there's no reason for me to talk to you. You understand? What we're saying is dvarim pshutim ad ma'od. It's very simple things. Could be because of a brainwash. It could be a little hard to understand in the beginning. Listen to it a few times. But it's dvarim pshutim. We all see it, we all know it, and we all know, unfortunately, how a person could think in their mind that they'll rather follow the system and lose their child than do what's good for their child. Unfortunately, people know it's happening in their minds. You have to stop thinking that these young adults, which a lot of them are brainwashed, but it's easier to work with them because they're young. You understand? The ability of change is very much in them. We have to become, wherever you are, if you're a 5-year-old, or if you're a 7-year-old, you're a 40-year-old, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, wherever you are on the spectrum, you need to change. You need to change. And just refuse to get into arguments with people about it. You first need to create your community, create a strong community, a strong, backing, a strong group, your own strong community. That's what you need to do. And when you do that, after you create strength, you just ignore them, and you create your own group. This is what, now you have a little strength. You have kids growing up in this group that have their hashkafa correctly, that don't just look at people, have this negative eye, always trying to find what they're doing wrong when it comes thinking that they this negative eye, thinking negative about people. When it comes to shidduchim, it's like, it's like you're wondering, am I a Jew the way they're thinking about me? Am I even a guy in their eyes? You understand? Am I even I think they think I'm an animal. An animal that took some type of meds and turned into a human being. Maybe that's why they're treating me like this. You understand? You don't understand what's going on. They don't allow you to work. They want you to sit and learn nonstop, no work. People need to work. Well, what is this craziness? That's what the tzaddikim, they're nice people, but they're very low quality, because they didn't have to work hard to become a tzaddik. It's spoon-fed to them. And that creates weak tzaddikim that don't understand the realities of life, weak rebbetzins, weak rebbes and chachams. Send them to Africa for a year. Let them feel what it means to help someone, what it means to do kindness. Then we could talk. Maybe they should go and bring food to people that are homeless. Bring them some food, that they have something to eat. Sitting in an air-conditioned room talking about, psychology and thinking that you understand life. Go to Africa. Go to the people that are on the street. Buy them something. Do kindness. Actually do something with your life. People think the Torah is just reading. When you act the way the Torah says you should be, that is way greater than reading it in the book. This is something that no one understands. What? Torah is not just a book that you read. Torah is when you manifest the Torah, when you physically do it, that is also Torah. When you work and you help people, that is Torah. You keep the halachas, you don't steal. There's someone that is going through a hard time. You could forgive the loan, you forgive it. You help them out. You say, don't worry, you come for me, I'm going to give you a week of free food. You could, if you're able to do it, you do it. You could smile, encourage them, help them to get a job. That is Torah. That is the same thing as reading the Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Doing it physically. What did Avram Avinu do? Avram Avinu had the Torah before it was given. How did he have the Torah if it wasn't given yet? The actions. First of all, he came up with the idea of what the Torah would want, and then he did the action. We forget that Torah is not just Rebbe Akiva Eger. It's doing those actions. You say Sfiras Omer, that's a mitzvah, that's an action. When you don't steal in business, that's an action. When you're kind to someone, you smile at them. You treat people kindly. You care about them. You care about your kids more than a system. That's Torah. That's Torah. We wish the very best for you. Hashem, He wants so badly the best for you. We have to start listening to Him. And there's a lot of Getchkelas, a lot of Satans all around us. We might be temporarily one. We have to get out of it. You understand? We have to do the real good of Hashem. And I'm going to say something, I know this might offend some people, but those people are little Satans, you understand? At the moment. We wish the best for them. Tzaddikim and Rebbitzins and Chachams and Rebbes and Mashpiyim, whatever they are, they need to prove what they're saying. When they say that you just have to just take it, believe what I'm saying, because I'm a Paisik, because I'm a huge tzaddik, so I know what Hashem wants. You understand? I don't make mistakes. I literally heard what I was saying. A Rosh Hashiva can never make a mistake. He has no nikiyas. such nonsense. A lot, people don't say when I'm speaking, what I'm talking about, I've seen in physical life. You understand? And that's what I'm going back on. I don't like to say all the stories, maybe I should say a whole bunch of these stories, but they have to prove what they're saying. I know this is like a huge chiddush to people, like, what? They have to prove what they're saying. If it's hashkafa, if it's halacha, and a lot of halacha matters, we don't have the ability to go back and forth with them. But when it comes to logic, they can't just say, well, the pasuk says otherwise, so therefore you have to do this. No. When it comes to logic, which, let's face it, the reason why people are going off is not because of Shabbos, which only Avram Avinu and the Avos HaKadoshim understood the logic behind that, It's not because of Shabbos, it's not because of Kashrus, it's not because of Taras HaMishpacha. It's because when it comes to the logical things in life, that every human being, some people quicker than others, but every human being can understand, and you can have a conversation with them, those things are being ruined. That's why people go off. You treat them like garbage. You throw them out of yeshiva because they're causing you a bit of uncomfortableness. You prevent them from getting married. You prevent them from learning, from working, from learning how to take care of the family. You prevent them from this. You prevent them from that. All in because you claim that this is Kedusha, this is holiness, this is piousness, this is what Hashem wants, this is Ratzon Hashem. That's why they get off. That's why they get off. And in these areas, whenever someone speaks, if they are someone that is not willing to sit down and prove it, they're worthless. When they just bring up a pasuk and petrify you, it was saying, well, if you don't have Ahavas Hashem or Yiras Hashem, then you know what type of hell is waiting for you. That's not logic. You're trying to, if you don't keep mitzvahs, you know what type of Gehenna is going to happen to you. It's true. But most people are, the reason why they're not keeping mitzvahs is not because they're really an evil person. Almost no one's like that. It's because when it comes to the logical aspects of life, especially the crucial logical aspects of life, the system does the opposite and calls that holy, and that warps the minds of the young people and causes havoc and causes people to go off the derech, causes people to get divorced, causes people never to get married, causes people to get thrown out of yeshiva. How many delicious, wonderful kids are not accepted in because all the money is being thrown at the kollel. Kollel has to be free. They have to give their money and this and that. But kids, beautiful, rosy cheek kids, they can't get into a Jewish school. The parents are panicking. And even with their panic and even with their tefillas and crying to Hashem, the child doesn't go to school. Isn't that horrible? People see that and turn their eyes and just think Kollel, put all the money in Kollel. It's better that every single person works, that every single Jewish child, those rosy cheeks, should be able to have Jewish education until the age of 18. There are millions and millions of Yidden today, people that are Jewish. Lots of them, we lost them. You understand? Not we, the people running the nation. They lost them. And the simple and the people in the nation that didn't speak up. From the simple Jews, why didn't anybody speak up? Not allow this. Find a different leader that understands reality. There's millions and millions of Yidden today. We have I don't remember, 12.5 million Jews. From them, I don't know, we have around 1 or 2 million that are Bechlal in any way affiliated with Judaism. And from that, the people that are actually keeping Judaism, it's a very low amount of people compared to the nation, which is 12 million. You understand? 12.5 million. We could have had, for sure, more than half of them Jewish today, having wonderful lives, getting this world and the next. If the focus would have been every Jewish child until the age of 18 should be able to go to a Jewish school instead of this Kollel. The reason why Kollel took off and the Yetzer Hara was very happy with it, because that idea averted people from the kids, from the children. The system. You think the smart people didn't realize it? All these kids now can't come to Jewish school. Their shita, their ideology was that it's better that someone learns. This is what I just better that someone learns in Kollel than let's say learn a half a day and the other half a day he works and makes sure that every person could eat kashrus. It's a story like this. This is literally what this huge tzaddik told this person. He says, I could make everybody in Eretz Yisrael eating kosher. He was smart. He knew how to do it. He had the connections. Should I do that or should I stay in Kollel? You know what he was taught to do? Stay in Kollel. That is greater than all the Jews, than getting every Jew to eat kosher. Giving them the ability, if they want to, giving them that ability. That is kfira. That is kfira. It says, Sur me'rav ha'asete. First you have to, whatever you can to remove bad, that comes first. Afterwards you do good. Learning is great. And of course, if he doesn't learn at all, then he needs to learn also. So what do? You do both. That's called being an adult, that you multitask. You're not a child that could only do one thing. You're not a little baby. And that's what this person was doing. They took this shita, is a getchka, is an idol. It has been destroying Klal Yisrael since it was fathomed. Millions and at least over 10 million Jews are not Jewish today because of this. Just think about that. If we would have focused on every kid, then most of them, who wouldn't want to send a child? right? They have Jewish pride. They would want to send them to a Jewish school. They don't want them to become crazy and say, I don't work and I don't do this, to get them married. If they put you through the Shiva Meduri Gehenim, they don't want to get part of that. They don't have the money for the school. Where are they going to get the money from? You want them to have as many kids as they can have healthily, and at the same time, you want them to pay for all those kids to go through 18 years of schooling and beyond, because according to you, they can't work, so they have to stay in the yeshiva. The girls go until like 18, 20, or 22, and the boys stay forever, because if you leave yeshiva, you can never get married. Who in the right mind? These people are crazy, absolutely. These are little satans, little idol people. To say that this is what everybody has to do, this is what everybody should be doing, it's not true. Maybe for like Reb Chaim Kanievsky, a few people like that, but for everybody else, they need to work. They need to do these other things, right? Just like you need to get married, you need to work. Learning. This is the way Hashem made the world. When you work, it's Torah. When you get married, it's Torah. When you take care of your kids, it's Torah. There are some people that their minds are so great that they could, they're such for them to learn more that's what Hashem wants. But Hashem also wants them to work. Hashem also wants them to get married. And the tzaddikim of old, there was even if you had a great mind, if you didn't work, you couldn't survive. And that and having to work and having that great mind and staying up late and learning and becoming a Gadol B'Yisrael that way, that's a real person. And if we would have 10 million, let's just say half, right? 5 million 5 million more people Jewish today. Let's just say half, let's say all that 2 million that are connected to some way in Judaism, let's say they were all fully religious. And now from the 10.5, let's say 6 million would be religious today. You don't think that from out of all these millions of people that take care of their families, love their wife, love their kids, you don't think that from out of them are going to come Gedolim? Maybe it won't be the ones you want to become Gedolim, but Gedolim would come. You want to control them. Only from Bris comes Gedolim. Only from Ashkenaz comes Gedolim. Only from Sfarad comes Gedolim. Only from Hasidim comes Gedolim, comes great people. Everybody is trying to force that the Gadol only comes from them. And if the Gadol comes from somewhere else, we don't even care so much. Yeah, we'll be mechaber him. It's so sad. If a person's a Gadol and he's not there to take care of the kids, he doesn't understand that when it comes to kids, they're literally the Yasam and the Almana. They're the orphan. They can't take care of themselves. You need to teach them the way, and to teach them this absurd way of life. To say that the way people live in Gan Eden is the way they should live down here. The way people live in heaven, that's the way they should live down here on earth. This is absurd. Earth is different than heaven. There's even a question in halacha. What happens if you leave the atmosphere of earth, where the earth is not pulling you back? You leave it. what happens then? Right? How do you, because Hashem gave the Torah to the Yidden, to the Jews on earth, what happens if you leave it? That's a big machlekes. Does the Torah, do you still need to keep the Torah if you leave earth? So, Safek Darais L'Chomra, at the end of the day, if you have a question about a biblical commandment, then you have to keep it. You understand? But this is a big, big question. This is a big, big question. Just a person should know. That's why I don't think Hashem really is going to allow Jews to leave, this earth, out of the gravitation of this earth, because his whole point is that he wants the Jews to keep it. You understand? The Shavah Mitzvahs B'nai Noach is everybody has to keep, no matter what. But the 613, it's a question, But this is, so I don't know. Maybe these, these people that consider themselves holy and consider that they know, they consider themselves people that know. Maybe they think they're in some type of simulation outside the atmosphere of Earth, on some floating through space somewhere, and therefore that's why they think that they could do whatever they want, and they don't have to keep the Torah. They don't. Torah's about doing chesed, doing kindness, caring about yourself, your wife, your kids, taking care of them, not just saying that learning's the greatest and I forget about whatever anybody needs, even if it means that they go off the derech, I keep to the system. What type of nonsense is this? I don't know. Maybe maybe they think they're, we said before. I don't know. This is something terrible. This is something terrible, terrible, terrible. The ways of Hashem is pleasant. If you're not experiencing it, you have it wrong. Doesn't mean that. Of course, there could be temporary moments in life that you're going through a hard time, absolutely. But in general, if you're not feeling the nayam, then there's something wrong. There's something wrong with how you're being treated. And possibly, there's something wrong with how you're treating others. We talked a bit about so many kids that are going off the derech. It's only because Yiddishkeit is really true that it's not literally dropping like flies, but I think it's gonna, unfortunately, if things don't get fixed, I think it's gonna turn into it, sooner than later. And people are gonna start dropping away like flies. And it's so sad because Yiddishkeit is so amazing. And the people in charge are being tricked by the Satan. And the simple people go along with the trick because that's what the holy person says to do. When it comes to logical things in life, right? To sit and tell them, prove to me how you paskin when it comes to the Hilchos Shabbos. You have to be a great person to handle with them, you understand? But when it comes to logic in life, then they have to be able to prove it. Just saying this is what the pasuk says is not good enough, because they bring this pasuk, I'll bring you a different pasuk that says different. You understand? The psukim, you're going to say, well, how could there be that contradiction? The answer is, if you understand the framework, if you look at the picture from abroad, you see how everything connects. But in their mind, things don't connect. There's this and not that, but they don't realize that it connects. The Torah is trying to tell you there's this and that, and there's a way that it connects, and you got to figure that out. But instead, people just see this pasuk or this member of Chazal, this saying of our holy sages, and they don't incorporate that with all the other sayings of the sages, and they misinterpret what's trying to be said. So, whenever they bring this as a proof, you could bring all the proofs in the world. At the end of the day, you gotta explain it logically. When it comes to regular logical things in life, you have to explain it logically. I understand when it comes to Shabbos, Hilchos Shabbos, and this and that, why you're passing like this and that, most people don't understand that. But when it comes to logic, almost everybody can understand that. And if you're a person that can understand it, are not good with understanding logic, then you need to find someone that you trust that does understand logic and use them as a back, But almost everybody can understand logic. And it must be that people have to prove it. Hashem loves you. He wants you to be with Him. He doesn't want you to hurt other people, whether knowing that you're hurting them or not knowing that you're hurting them. And that's why He sent me to say this. That's why we talk about these things. And that's why you need to talk about these things. Might be preferred to, if you could get a shidduch in a more easier way, might be preferred first to get married, you understand, and then go into it. If you're a parent that's already married and have kids, so you need to begin. We have to start loving our children more than the system, more than this getchka. You'll never find Hashem. In the olden days, people would throw their kids into the fire to serve God, to serve this idol. What did Hashem do? Hashem came along and said, first of all, you're not serving me, you're serving this piece of wood or piece of rock or some constellation. You're not serving me. Second of all, even if you were trying to serve me, I don't want human sacrifice. That's not what I want. I never want you to serve me, and through serving me, you hurt someone else. You don't care about someone else. That is literally the beginning of Yiddishkeit. And now when Hashem came to Avram Avinu, and Hashem says, go shecht your son. Now that's a dibur from Hashem, right? You understand? It went against this. And Avram Avinu didn't understand. What could that be? Hashem is Hashem of kindness. Bad doesn't come from Him. So how could He be telling me to shecht Yitzchak? And then he found out that it was all a test. Well, he began and Hashem told him to stop. He went down to cut, and Hashem told him, stop. I just wanted to test you. The only way to test Avram Avinu in his complete loyalty to Hashem was to tell him to do something that he knew Hashem would never want. But Hashem is telling him to do it. If he still did it, that means retroactively everything he did, he does for Hashem. But Hashem, before he caused Yitzchak to die, Hashem stopped him. Hashem stopped him. He did not shecht Yitzchak and kill him, because that's not Hashem. It was all a test. to just show the greatness of Avram Avinu. So even there, Hashem did not cause evil. And we have to know, only good comes from Hashem. And if we see in our lives that we feel ourselves being pushed away from Yiddishkeit, being pushed away from Hashem, our kids, the way we talk, the way we act, it pushes them away from Hashem. When we talk to other people, it pushes them away from Hashem. We're like some type of fungus, some type of disease, like a fungus. Right? If it could grow in a person, some funguses can control the brain and turn the world into zombies. We're like some type of zombie that people are running away from us, afraid of us infecting them. We have to know that we're doing something wrong. Don't be arrogant. Don't be brainwashed. Don't be because you did it so long, you have to continue to do it. Break out of it. Break out of it. Save yourself. Save your spouse. Save your family. Save the people around you. Create a shelter. Don't let the fungus destroy the fungus in your brain. Find an antidote. Save whoever you can. It's literally a zombie apocalypse going on over here. Save whoever you can. Can't save everybody because they don't want to listen. But save who you can. They're so infected. It's a miracle that they should get out of it. That's what they did to themselves. But save who you can. There's people that were just recently affected, kids that were born that were not affected. Save the kids from the zombie apocalypse. Save them. Don't you want to save those people, those kids? You want to just be the only alone in the world and you know the truth? That's why I'm speaking here. I don't want to be just the one person that knows the truth and everybody else is in the zombie apocalypse. I'm trying to save whoever we can. Give antidotes out. Try to save people. There's this poor girl. She's so brainwashed. Get her out of it. Make her feel like a girl again. Make her have love in her heart. The people all of a sudden want to marry her, even though she might be a little overweight. The way we save ourselves is, first of all, going strong with good. We want good, and if logic is telling us that something's bad, we have to take it very seriously. We have to take it very seriously if it seems that what we're doing, logic is dictating that it's bad. Take it very seriously to change, to look into it very well. And we also need to start doing tons of kindness. We have a share on this, but we have to start doing a lot of kindness. You have extra time, don't watch the new Spider-Man that came out. Do kindness. Do kindness. Kindness heals the mind, brings spirituality into you, heals your soul, brings goodness into your life, elevates you to a higher level being. Do kindness. Be loving. Care about other people. Want the best from them. Want them to have heaven on this world and in the next. That's what Hashem wants for us. I love you all, and Hashem loves you more.